I want to share with you the law of success for criminal lawyers. So, if you are a criminal lawyer or you are an aspiring criminal lawyer, it's important to understand that there is a certain law of success to actually apply in your day to day affairs, okay? So, when it comes to being a good or excellent criminal defense lawyer, it's important to understand that you have all kinds of styles, okay? When you are actually charged with a crime, deciding on a lawyer is one of the most important decisions that your clients will make, right? And it's an important decision that can save their lives too, your clients' lives. Okay. After all, a lawyer, a good criminal defense lawyer, will be a client's eyes, ears, voice, and most avid defender against the government. And it's important to understand that because you are charged with such responsibility, you got to really put yourself at a certain level of accountability as a lawyer. So, a criminal defense lawyer can actually come into, let's say, a criminal manner, like criminal judicial manner, at all times. It doesn't matter if your client is charged with a drug crime, sex crime, property crime, or something else. The cool thing is that a criminal defense lawyer is going to be there to defend the clients, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that if you want to be a successful criminal lawyer, you have to understand that you are embracing, you're getting yourself into a very, very, very broad niche, and that niche can be lucrative if you have the right clients and those clients are paying you, because it's not just about working hard, but if you work hard and your clients is not paying you, you're not really going anywhere. So you want to really understand that your practice can be very helpful if it's able to talk to the right clients and actually and be successful at defending them too, because it's not just about getting the clients. You got to be able to prosecute those cases in a very positive and in a very, I would say, successful manner for the clients, for them to actually keep hiring you as a criminal defense lawyer or referring other clients to you. If you want to be a successful criminal lawyer, it's important to understand that when you are a criminal defense lawyer, there are things that you do and there are things that you do not do. So, let's say among clients, or let's just say in the general public, people have an idea of what a criminal defense lawyer does, okay? But it's not about just what you do. It's about how you carry your practice. It's really about how you position your practice, okay? So a criminal defense lawyer represents his or her clients in court. So they speak on the client's behalf to the judge, the jury, and the prosecutors, and they accompany their clients to all hearings. All hearings, I want to insist on that. So if you want to be a successful, an excellent criminal defense lawyer, you got to really embrace that sort of consistency and that sort of accountability. So basically, when I say accompany the client to all hearings, this includes having a trial and questioning witnesses in the courtroom. Okay, so you are always present. You are present 24/7. So now, of course, many criminal defense lawyers are known for their demeanor in the courtroom. Most criminal defense lawyers do the bulk of their work outside of court. So you may have to stay in your office, in your practice, and do your work. You don't have to be like on TV and actually attract media buzz, whatever, and go to court. No, your work could be discreet, but the most important element is to be effective. You want to be effective at whatever you do, okay? Now, when I say a good criminal lawyer, the kind of work that you're going to have to do could include investigating the case and collecting evidence, reviewing discovery provided by the prosecutor, filing bond and evidentiary motions, negotiating with prosecutors for dismissal or favorable plea deals, researching the law for novel legal issues, and also advising on immigration issues and other consequences stemming from a criminal conviction. Okay, so If you are a criminal defense lawyer and you fail to prepare the case and do legwork outside of the courtroom, you're not going to be successful inside of the courtroom. Okay, so the preparation happens before actually going to the courtroom. You got to do a lot of work. You got to do a lot of legwork, in the background if you want to be successful when talking to the judge. So the law of success for criminal defense lawyers actually revolves around a few things that you need to really pay attention to. Okay. So just because you went to law school, just because you got your JD with high marks, just because you passed the bar exam, just because you did all those things, you're not going to be like you're not going to be necessarily a good criminal defense lawyer. There are other things you need to cultivate. There are other skills you need to cultivate. First of all, knowledge of the criminal law in your area is really important. And that criminal law is changing all the time. Criminal law is changing all the time. So you have to adapt to those changes. You have to update your knowledge. Okay. So if you want to be a successful criminal defense lawyer, you have to really beef up your knowledge of the criminal law in your area. I just want to insist on that. The criminal law in your area, because criminal law can be a federal thing, but it can be a federal thing or it can be a state thing. Okay. So basically, you want to know how the law is applied in your specific jurisdiction. The reality is that different judges and prosecutors apply the law differently. So if you are familiar with your jurisdiction and you have some level of comfort or familiarity with the judges and prosecutors, you are in a better position to successfully defend your client. You got to also have excellent communication and skills. So this is the second law of success for criminal defense lawyers. Okay. So you got to have excellent communication skills, not just in court, but also outside court when talking to your clients, when talking to the opposing parties, all that kind of stuff. You should be able to communicate to a wide variety of audiences. Like various stakeholders have various needs. You have to be able to articulate something they want to hear. You need to communicate clearly with your clients, because you got to really understand what's really happening to them to hear their side of the story. And you also need to be able to tell a positive story to the judge, like a story that is beneficial to your clients. And also you have to speak to the prosecutor. So you want to understand that you are the one speaking on behalf of your clients. So it's important that you can communicate clearly and effectively without alienating the audience or causing confusion. If you want to be a successful criminal defense lawyer, you have to also think about high-level preparation. So this is a third law of success for a criminal defense lawyer. Okay, it's important to understand that every now and then you might hear some lawyers walking into court and winging it, right? They walk into court and wing it. But basically, those are not the good ones. And even if they're good, it's not going to last long. It's not going to last long. I think I've said this before. The preparation happens outside of the court, okay? You got to have that high-level preparation. You have to be prepared for every scenario before you can you even step foot into the courtroom. And the reason is that there are a lot of things that can happen. A courtroom is very dynamic by nature. You have all kinds of, how do I call it? All kinds of, I call it vibrations, all kinds of behaviors happening. The judge, from yourself, from the opposing party, from the prosecutor. So you have a lot of things to think about, okay? That means what? It means that having a nuanced understanding of all the evidence and discovery, anticipating arguments made by the prosecution, and preparing to question witnesses, all those things can really help you win your case, or at least put forward a positive profile for your clients. Another law of success for criminal defense lawyers has to revolve around, let's say, detail orientation, like attention to detail, okay? So you want to pay close attention to detail, particularly defense attorneys. So in a criminal case, defense attorneys try to poke holes in the government's case. So the best way to actually find these holes is to listen carefully to every single detail, right? You want to pay attention to every single thing. It's all about what I call collecting intel from the opposing party or the government. You got to collect intel, okay? So if you only pay attention to the big picture, you might risk missing the small yet incredibly important details that can change the outcome of the case, right? So you have to understand criminal defense law is a pretty technical matter. So if you have details, that can help you big time. Another law of success for criminal defense lawyers has to be around comfort public speaking. So I've said a little earlier that it's important for you to communicate with various audiences, various parties, right? So, but you got to really have a clear level of comfort speaking publicly. The reason is that some of those criminal law cases can be public, affecting the community, affecting all kinds of sectors in of the economy or of the local life, and this will attract, let's say, a media will attract various stakeholders at the local level. So you got to be able to speak in public, and you must be comfortable doing that because if you are a criminal defense lawyer, you gotta love public speaking. At least most do. Okay, and so you need to speak to the judge in open court, to the prosecutor, and to a jury when you argue your case. So if you're not comfortable with public speaking, then you won't be effective at arguing on your client's behalf. Also, you got to have a certain ability to persuade and negotiate. See, negotiation is going to be part of your lot all the time, okay? So at the end of the day, as a criminal defense lawyer, you need to be persuasive and be a strong negotiator. You need to persuade the judge, the prosecutor, and the jury of your client's innocence, right? And so you may also negotiate with the prosecutor for a lighter sentence or a favorable plea deal. So if you are good, you might even be able to get the case dismissed. That's one thing you need to really understand. So if you as a criminal lawyer, you're not persuasive, you're not going to be very good at your job. This is an important element to keep in mind. And so your ability to persuade and negotiate is actually is a very key element. It can take you very, very far. And again, you are speaking to different audiences, different constituencies, different clusters of the public. If you want to be a successful criminal defense lawyer, you gotta also have strong decision-making skills, but also discretion and respect for confidentiality. So those are two laws of success that you need to cultivate. So when I say a strong decision-making, I'm talking about your ability to analyze the case at hand and see the best legal options. Okay, see the best legal option or options for your clients in that particular case. And that means what? It means that you have to decide to go route A versus route B or route C. Okay, you must understand how to make a good decision before giving your clients a final opinion. Okay, so one thing for sure, if you as a lawyer you have a history of making bad decisions, then you'll probably lose. You will lose trust from your clients or from prospective clients. So when I speak about confidentiality, what do I really mean? Well, so you got to have discretion and respect for confidentiality. So a good criminal defense attorney is discreet about their representation and has the utmost respect for confidentiality. So when you hear the whole thing about clients, like attorney-client's privilege, this is a real thing, especially in the criminal defense law space, if you will. So your client needs to trust you as a lawyer. They need to trust that you as a lawyer keep your communications private and that you will not reveal the private details of your case to others, right? They have to trust that. And not only is it an ethical rule, in case you forgot, but I don't think you forgot, but I'm just trying to reinforce that notion in you. So not only is it an ethical rule, but it's also the foundation of a positive attorney-client relationship. Okay, so basically, if you want to be an excellent criminal defense lawyer, you need to understand confidentiality, and you need to actually put your client's privacy above all else. Gotta prove you gotta really put confidentiality and also privacy above all else. One thing you need to understand, and I'm going to close on this point. It's important to understand that when you actually are, if you're going to sell your criminal defense lawyer, I would say services to clients, you need to really be careful about the kind of clients you attract, right? You need to cultivate them. You need to nurture those leads. I call them leads, and transform them into paying clients, and hopefully clients you can actually defend successfully. Sorry about that. Okay, so it's important to understand that. So when a client actually reaches out to you, you got to have a few questions that you can ask them. For example, you can actually tell them the work that you will do outside of court appearances, so they know when you're billing them, like your billable hours are not just the hours that you make up. Okay, you're actually working hard, because see, a lot of like in the eyes of the public, people think that a criminal defense lawyer is only good for court, right? They go to court and they just argue in court. No, but there is work in the background. There is work in the back office, because before you go to court and really perform at your best as a criminal defense lawyer, you got to do the preparation actually outside of courtroom. I think I said this clearly and at length in today's conversation. And you also, if you have defended clients against similar charges before, you have to really maybe put it forward and tell the clients, listen, I've defended people like you before, and I've defended them successfully. Okay, successfully. Even if you were not successful, simply because you went through a similar process in the past, can really reassure the clients you know what you're talking about. Okay, and also you want to see whether or not you regularly appear in this specific jurisdiction, because then you will be able to establish familiarity, at least convey familiarity to the jurisdiction, to the clients. Okay, and also you want to explain to the lawyer that you are very good at communication. In other words, you are able to keep the clients updated about their case, right? And one thing I want to say is that if you're able to explain to the lawyer how you will keep them updated, and you have a clear process where they can see what you're saying, and they can see that your protocol can help them succeed, or at least have a successful outcome, out of court, then you would have established that relationship that you really need you really need to become a successful criminal defense lawyer. Okay, so this is an important element to think about. So in conclusion to this conversation, I gave you the law of success for criminal lawyers, okay? And I went through a few laws of success that you need to pay attention to, including discretion and respect for confidentiality, strong decision-making skills, ability to persuade and negotiate, okay? Comfort public speaking, attention to detail, high-level preparation, excellent communication skills, and knowledge of the criminal law in your particular area. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.